federal government has approved the implementation of the national blockchain policy for Nigeria. This was disclosed by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Issa Pantami, and he says the new policy is a product of consultations with 56 institutions and personalities whose end goal is to regulate blockchain technology in Nigeria's economy and security sectors. The activities of the policy will be coordinated by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. My guest on the program, Adedeji Owonibi, founder and COO at Convexity, who is also a member of the working group that worked on the policy document, joins me to discuss this further. What can you tell us about the National Blockchain Policy, or the National Blockchain Adoption Strategy, if you like?
Okay, so the National Blockchain Strategy is a very beautiful document that I think a lot of Nigerian tech enthusiasts have been waiting to get, most especially the people that are playing within what we call the Web3 or what we call the blockchain ecosystem. So the policy itself is all around, you know, the government saying, I think we believe there's something fantastic about this technology, and therefore we need to create a platform where we can transition using this technology into the digital economy. And that's the vision I think the country have. How to get that done is another way. Of course, that is all detailed in the policy document on ways we can drive adoption of the blockchain technology across all government agencies, ministries, and parastatals to make sure that these technologies support and create or boost efficiency within those ministries, and of course, increase transparency and boost their productivity, if you like.
Now, what prompted the creation of the policy?
The need for it is for government to actually point out what is their vision about this technology. And that's the need for the policy. So if you've heard, and don't forget that we also we're so passionate that we had to change our ministry for communication to now Ministry of Digital Economy and Communication, you know. So this whole issue is that this have to be galvanized, and you cannot be talking about digital economy, you cannot be talking about innovation this time and era without bringing in blockchain. So how will Nigeria as a country, you know, take advantage of this nascent technology that has been spoken of all over the world? And that is the reason that the policy was actually drafted.
Can you share some key contents of the policy and why it's so important?
So, like I talked about, blockchain, a lot of people mention, but it's just a database, right? So we've been using database before now. There's a lot of database. The only thing is that this database we talk about have a lot of copies of this same database across multiple computers around the world, or multiple computers, we will say here across Nigeria, and they will be updated simultaneously as maybe in seconds when something happens. So it will also make sure that there's transparency within the stakeholders that are engaged in using that technology, and also ability to make sure that things that we do are done in a secured manner across all these different networks, right? And again, one very major key thing that we have to pay attention to is the immutability of the data we store there. Security is guaranteed. No one can alter it. You know, a whole lot. And so those are all the things that are encapsulated in the policy to say we have to be able to do that. And one key part of it is actually a money that will be used for digital economy. And again, you can, of course, you're in this country, you know that the NITDA by the central bank is one of the layers that is key in to support the whole thing.
Talking about the digital economy, the question of how blockchain will help boost Nigeria's digital economy comes to mind. How will the policy document facilitate this?
So, policy document is a document by different stakeholders within the blockchain space. So is a combination of a lot of experts that understand this technology, that are Nigerians, you know. that come together to put this together. I was fortunate to contribute to this when I was contacted by the Ministry of Digital Economy far back 2019, 2020, to make sure we contribute to this document. We worked through that. We launched the draft sometime in 2021 January. And since then, NITDA and their own way have to work in some things that are outside our own understanding to actually make it what it is today, what the His Excellency the President Muhammadu Buhari have signed into law. They have signed into the policy document to actually guide the transition. But note that this document is not legal yet. It's not a law, kind of. It's not. It doesn't have any legal backing aside just detailing the vision and the dream of the country to what they want to see us play with blockchain. So there will be a composition of what we call the blockchain consortium that will be driven by the blockchain adoption steering committee that will be set up by the government, and all this whole framework will be driven by NITDA itself to make sure that every ministry, parastatal, whatever they are doing, that is possible for it to be digitized. All the activities that can actually be facilitated with blockchain. Again, blockchain is not the total answer to every problem in different ministries and parastatal, but the one that it will be advantageous to have blockchain power it. Of course, those are now very clear that they have the leeway and the government backing. So you begin to see blockchain-enabled solutions in our budget next year, because again, everybody will want to use and make sure that what they were doing before that can be moved from voting, for example, from identity, from our national identity. And I believe our national identity is already on the blockchain. So there are a few places that our blockchain have already helped us. So prior to now, we've not gotten the identity correctly, but now your identity is your identity forever. Nobody can change it. Not even NIMC can change it, for example, because they use the blockchain layer to issue you one identity. Now they're moving to a layer where you have what we call a decentralized identity, So when you have that decentralized identity on your own self, is left to you. We have what we call the zero knowledge proof. So you can prove that you are the person without giving much detail for data privacy. So there's a whole lot of things that the document is talking about. They also talked about incentive for people that are building solutions around this segment. So like for us now, we're very excited because we decided when this whole thing was not the way talked about, the way it is being talked about now, we established the first Nigerian blockchain innovation hub, right? And we'll be building solutions across that place. So if there's a document that say there's incentive people building, so we say, oh, thank goodness, now we can get some incentive for the thing we've been building without incentive prior to this time. And so there's a whole lot of things. There's the consortium, there's a lot of framework that need to come up. All this will be governed together within the steering committee on the implementation to make sure that this is done rightly for the benefit of the country.
Another question I'd like to ask you, which I think is also on the minds of many, is whether this means there is hope for the legalization of cryptocurrencies.
This is like a baby step. And I love it that Nigeria is giving the whole Africa a lot of lessons to learn. So we've done this document. A lot of African nations will copy us. So again, Nigeria is playing a very leading role when it comes to also the CBDC, which is a big topic that is talked about by different central banks across the world. And Nigeria also, again, took the very giant step by establishing and creating the eNaira, which is the first CBDC within the shores of Africa. And again, the one and the only CBDC that is rolled out completely to cater for over 200 million people across the globe. So this is a very learning curve. So that is a leading role, and that is what my country is playing, and that is what makes me very glad as a Nigerian this time. So we've been taking a backseat, and I've been shouting and saying this have to change, because this is a new technology that started around 2009 or thereabout, and that's over 14 years. And I don't want to see a 14 years of waiting and the government is not saying, just hold on, we want to see what is there. So the technology will be 25, 30 years before they say, oh, we think it's fantastic, you can go on. And by that time, we have been disadvantaged. And I think we're not late now. This is great. And I believe that with time, everybody will come on board. So to answer your question straight, this is not a validation for crypto adoption. This is a validation for using the technology itself to power the processes of government.
Well, it was great to hear your thoughts about the national blockchain policy. Thank you so much, Adedeji, for talking to us on Tech Trends.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, that's all we have for you on our lineup this week. Thank you for staying with us. As always, Tech Trends is here to share insights, trends, and developments happening in the tech space. If you missed any part of the program, you can always catch up on the channel's TV YouTube account where we have all of our episodes. And I encourage you to watch, share, and like your favorite editions. For Tech Trends, I'm Olayemi Odunuga. I'll see you next time.